श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्।
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we have been going through Vande GurorMandalam lecture series on Adi Shankara Bhagavad Stotras for the last 4 weeks continuously without any obstacle, purely because of the blessings of Acharya Swamiji. Now, after having gone through the stotras of Ganapati and Shiva, including Shivananda Lahari, then we started with Devi Stotras with Ananda Lahari, and today we are starting on Saundarya Lahari. Now, Saundarya Lahari is supposed to be the greatest of all the Stotra Granthas of Adi Shankara. Now, Adi Shankara Ashtotara Satanama Stotram says, Saundarya Lahari Mukhya Bahustotra Vidhayakaya Namaha. So, when they wanted to say, he has composed many stotras, the one example which they chose was Saundarya Lahari. So, that itself shows this is what Mahaprabhu has said. Now, this Saundarya Lahari is different from all other stotras in one great respect. That is, this is Mantra Shastra. Shri Vidya Mantra Shastra, particularly the Panchadashakshari Mantra, has come for mention here, has come for explanation here. Similarly, Mantram, Tantram, Yantram, all the three connected with Devi Upasana find detailed treatment here in this stotra. Yantra is the Sri Chakra Yantra. Tantra, of course, not much goes into this, but Vidwans have picked up sloka number 34 as saying that Tantra is implied there when Aikyanusandhanam, the meditation on the unity of Jivatma with Paramatma, is mentioned. So, if you consider all these factors, this covers over all the other stotras. That is the view of all great scholars. There is no difference of opinion on this. Now, the genesis of Saundarya Lahari, there are many stories connected with that. One commonly accepted story is that when Adi Shankara went to Kailasa, he collected 5 Sphatikalingas from Parameshwara and 4 Sphatikalingas he established in 4 different kshetras, and the 5th one, the Yogalinga, he kept with himself. He was performing puja. He established Kanchi Kamakoti Matham in Kanchipuram, and he left the Sphatikalinga for puja by the Guru Parampara established by him at Kanchipuram in the Kanchi Kamakoti Pitham. Now, when he went to Kailasa, he also was given by Parameshwara himself a sheaf of palm leaves. When Shiva gives, naturally he took them with great respect and brought them out, took them with him. At the gate, when Nandi saw that he was carrying away these palm leaves, he was upset because this is the property of Kailasa. It should not go to earth. It should not go to Bhuloka. So he was worried, and then he pulled off these palm leaves from his hand. In that struggle, 41 slokas of Saundarya Lahari, palm leaves, were kept with Adi Shankara. Remaining 59 slokas went to the hands of Nandikeshwara. Now, Adi Shankara was not upset. He knew that this is the way the divine Leela is happening. So he thought this is Ambika's Sankalpa, so there is no need to bother about it. Let it take its course. Then Ambika told him that don't worry about these 59 slokas, you compose them yourself. So that is how we are told that the first 41 slokas dealing with more of Mantra Shastra and Kundalini Yoga and related topics or from Kailasa, and the remaining 59 slokas dealing with Devi Swarupa Varnana, Keshadi Padam. They were composed by Adi Shankara himself. Now, where these were composed, there has been an accepted opinion that these were composed by Adi Shankara in the Kamakshi temple in Kanchipuram. In facing Kamakshi Devi, he composed these stotras. Now, in commemoration of this event, every year during Shankara Jayanti, during the 10-day Utsava, Adi Shankara's Vigraha is brought and kept before Kamakshi Devi, and then these Saundarya Shlokas, 10 shlokas are chanted every day in front of Kamakshi Devi, as if Adi Shankara himself is rendering those shlokas. So in 10 days, the Saundarya all the 100 shlokas are chanted in front of Kamakshi Devi. Of course, there is another version that held by Kashmiris, because it has been established that Adi Shankara definitely went to Kashmir. He went to the Sharada Peetham, where he is supposed to have ascended the Sarvajna Peetham at Sharada Peetham. Though we all have been told that he ascended the Sarvajna Peetham in Kanchipuram. It's not impossible that he ascended Sarvajna Peetham in both places. Now, there in Kashmir, in Srinagar, there is a hill called Shankaracharya Hill, and the top of the hill there is a Jeshta Rudreshwara temple. It comes in the history of Kashmir. In Rajatarangini also it is mentioned. Now, there, Adi Shankara went there and composed these stotras, Saundarya stotras, sitting there in that shrine. This is the belief Kashmiris are holding very faithfully. Now, there are other versions about where you can find these Saundarya shlokas. There is a version that Mahaganapati himself wrote all these Saundarya shlokas on the walls of Mount Meru, on the walls of Mount Meru, Meru mountain. And another version says that these Saundarya shlokas are found written on the walls of Kailasa. And the person who wrote on the walls of Kailasa is one Pushpadanta, the author of Shiva Mahimna Stotram, the great stotra on Shiva. And he was a Gandharva, and he was the composer of the great stotra, and it was he who wrote that. This is the belief. So there are a lot of such stories connected with Saundarya Lahari. And this must be the only, perhaps, only Grantha for which there are 9 bhashyas written by experts in the field, not by ordinary people. 9 commentaries written by experts. The first, of course, is the very well-known, very celebrated commentary is by Lakshmidhara, which is oft quoted. Then there is one called Saubhagya Vardhini by Kaivalya Ashrama. Then there is one called Aruna Modini by Kameshwara Suri. Then Anandigiri has written one bhashya. Then there is another one called Tatparya Deepini, followed by Padartha Chandrika. Then another one, Dindima Bhashyam. The name itself is very scholarly. Dindima is the best among scholars. Gopala Sundari, another bhashya, which partly refers to these stotras as stotras in praise of Vishnu, Gopala. So Sundari as well as Gopala, he is contending like that. And there is one bhashya called Ananda Lahari itself. So like this, there are 9 commentaries. And the subject of this Saundarya Lahari, where is it mentioned? That was the next question raised by Mahapreva, and he has answered it. Because in the very first shloka, there is no mention of to whom this is addressed. It says, Ataswam Aradhyam, that who is the Swam to whom this is addressed is not mentioned. So we have to infer from the context and from the title. Now, Mahaprabhu has established nicely, very nicely, that Saundarya, can it be associated with anybody other than Devi? No. Saundarya means Devi only. That is one evidence. Another evidence is, this is the way the slokas go. There is no doubt. If you read all the slokas, there is no doubt that this is a stotra in praise of Sakshat Tripura Sundari. So, because it is stotra in praise of Tripura Sundari, he has called it Saundarya Lahari. This is how it has been said in praise of this great Grantha. And the chandas which has been used is Shikharini chandas, very popular, very supposed to be the best chandas, Shikharini. The Shikhara, the pinnacle of all the chandas. Mahaprabhu has mentioned one more thing very interestingly, that is, just as in Srimad Bhagavatam itself is Krishna Vigraha, because Krishna, when he left his presence on earth, and then he went to his Parandhama, he made it very clear, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, that he is not leaving anywhere. Srimad Bhagavatam is representing his presence, represents his presence. Similarly, now though Adi Shankara has left us in bodily form, he is still with us in the form of this Grantha, Saundarya Lahari, because he himself is a form of Kamakshi, and this Grantha is in praise of Kamakshi, Tripura Sundari, and he is represented in this Grantha himself. So, another very interesting facet of this Grantha is, we mentioned that this is a very unique Grantha which refers to Mantra Shakti, Mantra Yoga, and also Kundalini Yoga. These are two, and Sri Chakra Puja. These are three important facets covered. Now, coming to this mantra, the greatest finding is that the mantras are not confined only to a few slokas here and there, as it may be apparent, it may look like that, but Vidwans have established every sloka, all the 100 slokas, mantra is there in some sukshma, hidden form. For example, there may be words ending with eem, aim. Now they separate the eem and aim, and then they say these are the Bijaksharas. They have established, and they have given a meaningful explanation for all the slokas with this background. So that's another great feature, that even though they remain in the latter part, 49 slokas are not directly connected with this Mantra Yoga or Kundalini Yoga or Sri Chakra Puja, there is a reference to Sri Chakra in one or two slokas, but it has been established by Vidwans that those slokas also have Bijaksharas connected with Devi. The name, the title, Saundarya Lahari. Lahari means, as we saw in the last stotra, Ananda Lahari. Lahari means a wave, a great wave, a tide, a billow. Now, a flood of Saundarya in which you are invited to immerse yourself, that is Saundarya Lahari, which is coming wave after wave. Now, Mahaprabhu made one interesting observation in this context. He says, normally, a 100 sloka Grantha can be titled Shatakam, Surya Shatakam by Mayura Kavi, like that. There are Granthas of that genre. But here we find that there is no mention of Shatakam in the title, it just mentioned Saundarya Lahari, because when you say Shatakam, it ends with that the 100th shloka, no more. You start with 1, end with 100. But here, Lahari is a continuous wave of Ananda, of Saundarya, in which you immerse yourself. So it doesn't stop with the 100th shloka, it continues with your experience of that Lahari. So that is why he has named it Lahari, not Shatakam. Like this, many explanations have been given for Saundar Lahari with great feeling, with great emotion. People have enjoyed this great grantha in praise of Devi. So let us start with shloka number 1.
शिवः शक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तः प्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुमपि अतस्त्वामाराध्यां हरिहरविरिञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्यप्रभवति.
Now this shloka starts with Shivaha Shaktya Yuktaha. Now on this also Mahapariva commented. He says, you are saying this is a stotra in praise of Shakti. So why did Shiva get the first mention in this stotra? The very first shloka, very first word is Shiva. Nothing to do with Shakti. Why? On this he has given a very interesting explanation. He says, though we have now seen earlier that Parashakti is supreme. She is the supreme Parabrahma Swarupini. At that time there is no Shiva. Then later on, she created Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra and Ishvara for doing 4 krityas, and the 5th kritya she created Sadashiva. Now when she created Sadashiva, it was all these are parts of herself, her own amshas. When she created Sadashiva, she took Sadashiva as her husband. She married. This is the second stage of manifestation of, we mentioned this in connection with Kamakshi temple. The Kamakshi Vigraha in the temple is Parabrahma Swarupini. She is not Shivapatni. Shivapatni Kamakshi is also another aspect of Kamakshi whom you will find in Ekamreshwara temple, where there is a Utsava Murti of Kamakshi. So the original Parabrahma Swarupini Kamakshi, Lalita Parameshwari, Tripura Sundari, Rajarajeshwari is Kamakshi in the Kamakshi temple. So when the second stage of manifestation happened, when Sadashiva, that is, she divided herself into 2, that is Kamakshi and Sadashiva, Tripura Sundari and Sadashiva. And she married Sadashiva. So that is because when she created Sadashiva, she wanted to set up an example to all Grihasthas in the world how Grihasthashrama should be conducted, activities of Grihasthashrama. So there is a Pati-Patni relationship where Pati is held higher in a higher position than Patni. As per Shastra, Patni is helping Pati in all his activities of Dharma. She is the Dharma Patni. And Pati is in charge of all the activities are connected with Dharma. He is responsible for it. Responsibility is with him. Helping responsibility is with Patni. This is as per Shastra. Now, to set an example to the Grihasthas on earth, she subordinated herself to the will of Parameshwara. So Parameshwara is a little higher in this hierarchy after marriage. So to show that to us, Shiva's name has come first. This is an explanation. Though the overall theme of Saundara Lahari looks at Parameshwari as the supreme Shakti, no doubt about that. Parabrahma Swarupini, she is. But the second level of manifestation, when it happened, that has been carried through in most of the shlokas. So this twin representation we have to keep in mind. So Shiva Shaktya Yuktaha Yadi Bhavati Saktaha Prabhavati. Yadi Shaktya Yuktaha. When Shiva is associated with Shakti, then Prabhavitum Shaktaha Bhavati. He becomes capable. Shaktaha is capable. Shakti is capability, power. Now he becomes capable, he acquired enough power to create the world. Prabhavitam is creating the world. Creating also includes sustenance and destruction. Nache devam devo nakhalu kushalaha spanditumavi. Evam nachet, if this is not so, that means if Shakti were not associated with Shiva, Devaha, that is Shiva, Panditumapi na kushalaha. They want to move. They want to show a little bit of movement. Spandanam is the very first movement. This world, this creation process starts with Spandanam of Parameshwara because of Devi. Starts with Spandanam of Parameshwara because of Devi. So that great process of creation, the start of great process of creation is indicated here by using the same word Spandanam. Panditum api. He cannot even move his body. Then where is the question with acting? And that too creating this world. So Kushalaha, na Kushalaha, he is not capable. He doesn't have the expertise to even move, capability to even move. Then where is the question of doing the creation? Ataha, hence, Swam Harihara Virinchadibhirapi Aradhyam. You are being prayed to, you are being worshipped by Hari, Hara and Virincha. Virincha has been expressed nicely by one of the commentators. Visheshena Rinchati Srijati Prapancham Iti Virinchihi. Visheshena Rinchati. He is doing something very special in terms of creation. All of us do some kind of creation in our day-to-day activities, isn't it? We write something, we speak something, all that can be termed as creation. But his creation is nowhere comparable to ours, and his creation is of a totally different dimension. He creates all universes. Visheshena Rinchati, Srijati. So he is known as Virinchi. Now, Harihara Virinchadibihi api, even by Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma, even they come and worship you. Ataha, because hence, what is that connection of hence? Because Shiva could not even move without the presence of Shakti. So, all these three divinities know very well that they are able to do whatever they can do only because of Shakti's blessing. So, they come and worship you. So, that is the Ataha. Pranantam sotum va katham akrita punyaha prabhavati. Akrita punyaha, one who has no punya to his credit, one who has not performed any activity which will bring him religious merit. Such a fellow, katham pranantam sotum va prabhavati. How can he even start to praise you or to do prostration to you? That means worshipping Devi is such a sacred activity that it doesn't fall to everyone's lot. To even think of worshipping Devi, you must have enough punya. That is why, Shastra always is very clear that keep on accumulating punya. Keep on accumulating. Don't worry about anything else and avoid sinful activities as far as possible. Because life is short and don't postpone any activity of punya. Anityani sharirani vibhavo naiva shashvataha. All these bodies are not permanent, they are transient, and the wealth that you have, the power, the position that you hold, all this comes under vibhavaha. All that is not going to be shashvata. Vibhavo naiva shashvataha. Mrityu sannihito, the Yama, the Lord of Mrityu, he is always there. Nityam sannihito mrityuhu. Nityam sannihito mrityuhu. He is ever looking to take you away. So you don't know when he will come and pick you up. Kartavyo dharma sangraha. So hence you keep on accumulating dharma. When you do activities of acts of dharma, naturally you will collect punya. So when there is more punya to your account, you will develop a tendency of pranantam stotum. So this is not something which is given to everyone. Even to worship Devi, you need punya. So this is the high form of praise. He starts with this. Now all the Panchakrityas of Shiva are performed only by association with Shakti. That has been mentioned very clearly. And it is also mentioned clearly that Vishnu, Brahma also are able to perform their activities only because of Shakti's blessing. Now, now they are all known as Bhagavan, all these three, essentially. Bhagavan has got, we have seen a definition of Bhagavan earlier. Bhaga, there are sixfold Bhaga. Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashasasya jnana vairagyo chaiva shannam bhagayate rana. We saw this. Now there is another way the term Bhagavan is explained. Kartum akartum anyatha kartum shakyaha Bhagavan. That is, he can do, he can undo, he can change, modify whatever he has done. Those three capabilities he has, which we don't have. We cannot do anything, we cannot undo anything, we cannot change, modify anything. That is not possible for a human. Whereas it is possible for these divinities, so that is why he is known as Bhagavan. Now all these Shaktis, these three Shaktis, Kartam, Akartam, Anyatha Kartam, are derived only by the blessing that they get from Shakti. Otherwise, Panditumapi na Kushalaha, that was the condition. Now another explanation given by commentators is the Shakti Shiva concept. Shakti Shiva concept is beautifully explained in terms of the alphabet of Samskrita. In Sanskritam, we have 51 letters of the alphabet, out of which 16 are vowels and 35 are consonants, starting with ka and ending with sha, and vowels starting with a and end with aha. Now, these 16, which are vowels, are actually the life-giving letters. The other 35 are only the body, the form. This is life and that is the body. This is Shakti and that is Shiva. That is how commentators have explained to us. The 16 letters represent the life force, represent 16 Nitya Devis, which is also part of Sri Chakra Upasana. 16 Nitya Devis during the building up to Paurnami, 16 Kalas. Now, so this is how, that is, no word can be formed with only these 35 body letters, consonants. You need the life force letters, the vowels, or because these are not ka to ksha, though we say like this, these are actually, in terms of grammar, ik like that. So with ik and it, you cannot frame any word, any meaningful word, unless you attach with a, ka, or cha, etc., ta, etc. Now, this shows that even the 51 letters of the alphabet, normally Devi is associated with 51 letters, isn't it? Panchashit Petha Ropini, Akaradik Shakaranta Matrika Varna Ropini. These kind of descriptions we find in various sutras. So when you say Akaradik Shakaranta Matrika Varna Ropini, 51 letters, that means Shakti is there everywhere in all these 51 letters equally. Now, this Shiva Shakti division we made, as we saw just now, at the Shakti's own behest. Now, even then, it becomes very clear that no meaningful word can be formed without the participation of Shakti, without the blessing of Shakti. So, Devi Bhagavatam gives this concept frequently, many references are there. Shivopi Shavatam Yati Kundalinya Vivarjitaha. Kundalini is another name for Shakti only. We will see that later. Now, if Shakti is not present, in the absence of Shakti, Shivopi Shavatam Yati. Shiva becomes Shava, like a corpse. He cannot act. Nakusharaha Spanditumapi is like a corpse only, isn't it? Kanda Puranam also says, Yeshasa Sakshini Shaktihi Shankarasyapi Shankari. Shankara is known as Shankara because he bestows auspiciousness on all of us. Sam karoti iti Shankara. Now, he gets that power because of Shankari. Shankarasyapi Shankari. She bestows auspiciousness on him and he bestows auspiciousness on us. Esha sa sakshini shakti. She is the witness shakti. Shiva bhinna tayahinaha Shiva sakshan nirarthakaha. When Shiva is, they are abhinna. They cannot be separated, inseparable. Even then, supposing you imagine Shiva without Shakti, then nirarthakaha, Shiva will become meaningless. So like this, this concept has been explained in several Puranas in several ways, but concept is clear. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitam Nache Devam Devo Nakhala Kusala Spanditumapi Ataswamaradhyam Harihara Virinchadibhirapi Pranantam Stotam Va Kasamakrta Punya Prabhavati. Now for each sloka there is a Laukika benefit also mentioned. Mundane benefit. Now for this sloka the mundane benefit is Sakala Karya Siddhi, Sakala Vijna Nasham. That is the benefit given. Next.
तनीयां सम्पांसुं तव चरणपङ्केरुहभवं विरिञ्चिः सञ्चिन्वन् विरचयति लोकानविकलं वहत्येनं शौरिः कथमपि सहस्रेण शिरसां हरसंक्षुद्यैनं भजति भसितो दूलनविधिम्.
Now, for each of these slokas of Saundarya, all the 100, Chediyur Subramanya Shastrihal in his book has given a specific puja procedure so that you can get the full benefit of that mantra. Because each sloka is a mantra we saw. Each sloka is a mantra by itself. Standalone mantra. You can chant that particular sloka as a mantra and get all the benefits. Now, so he gives the yantra for each sloka, other authors have also given, and he gives the procedure, puja procedure connected with that sloka. And you should do that puja and chant that mantra a certain number of times, say 1,000 times, 100 times, so on, for a certain number of days. Chant only that sloka for that many days, normally a mandala, 48 days, and then you do the udyapana, all that. Now we will see that a little in a few minutes as a part of this sloka itself. I just remembered when we completed the first sloka that it applies to every sloka. Taniyamsam pamsam tava charana pankeruha bhavam. Pamsu is the pada dhuli. Charana pankeruha is the lotus foot. The dhuli from your lotus foot. Taniyamsam, out of that Brahma picks up, Virinchihi is Brahma. Brahma picks up from this Padadhuli, lotus feet of Devi, he picks up something which is very sukshma. Taniyamsam means very tiny particles. He doesn't take large particles. And then Virinchihi Sanchinvan, he collects, accumulates those particles of dust. Virachayati lokan avikalam. Lokane virachayati. He creates all the worlds. He creates all the Brahmandas by collecting these dust particles from Devi's lotus feet. Abhikalam. Abhikalam means there is an order in his creation. It's not as if, he creates one after the other in a random manner. No. Nothing is random in nature. We all know it. Everything is set to a beautiful order. That is Abhikalam. Now, each of the worlds has its own independent existence and also a dependent existence, but each does not clash with the other. Each has its own orbit, each has its own gati. Now, like this, there is an order. So that is Avikalam. So that he does. And what is the basis of all this? From where he gets the power to create all this? Of course, he gets the power from Devi. But what is the material he uses for all this? He uses the material of Devi's particles of dust from her lotus feet. Now, the same particles of dust, Vahati Yanam Shaurihi, Kathamapi Sahasrayana Charasa. Shauri is a name for Vishnu, we saw before. And of course, there is an explanation for Shauri. Shauri is because Krishna comes in the lineage of Shurasena. Shurasena's son is Vasudeva, Vasudeva's son is Krishna. So he is known as Shauri. Now, now here, of course, we are not talking about Vishnu directly. Shaurihi Kathamapi Sahasrena Shirasam Vahati. These worlds which are created by Brahma, Vishnu carries on his head. So how many heads? 1,000 heads. Sahasrena Charasam. That means the reference is to Adishesha, who is a manifestation of Vishnu, power of Vishnu. So we know Adishesha carries on his 1,000 heads this earth. Now how does he carry it? Does he carry comfortably? No. Kathamapi, somehow, with great difficulty. That is the explanation. Even great Vidwans have given this explanation. Kathamapi means with difficulty, not comfortably. So that is the extent of the job to be done by Vishnu and the capacity to do that job he gets because of the Shakti given to him by Devi. Now, the material is already taken by Brahma, and this capacity to bear this load also is through the same material. Vahati Yanam. That means what are these worlds made of? These are made of the dust only, because that was the material with which Brahma created the world. The same world he is carrying on his head. So he Vahati Yanam, that is, he is carrying the same dust particles in the form of the worlds. And the carrying power also has been given to him, blessed to him by Devi. Haraha samshudya yanam bhajati bhasita uddholana vidhem. Bhasita is vibhuti, what we wear on our body, bhasita. And when we wear vibhuti, there are two distinct ways of wearing vibhuti, applying vibhuti. That is, one is the Tripundra form, the three lines, another is just dust. Uddholana is dust, the ashes. As it is, directly take the vibhuti in your hand, just apply without addition of water. Dry vibhuti, apply it directly. That is called uddholana, because the dhuli, the same dust in the ashes, so directly applying without adding water. Now what Shiva does, Haraha, what Shiva does is, he takes the world at the time of Pralaya, he takes these worlds and destroys all of them. He powders, Samshudya means he pounds them and powders them, reduces them to powder. And making them powder, he uses them as vibhuti and applies it on his form. And he doesn't add water, he directly applies this, that is why uddholana vidhyam. So there also the same with the creation, the created world which started with the dust of lotus feet of Devi, being carried by Vishnu, by the power granted by Devi, and with the same power granted to Shiva, he goes, because for destruction of so many worlds, how much power you need, how much Shakti you need. That Shakti is given to him by Devi only. So that extraordinary job of destructing all the worlds in no time, he does it. And then that powder he applies on his form. Now, the fruit of this sloka is Sarvaloka Vashyam, that is captivating all the worlds. That if you keep on chanting this sloka, that's what you are supposed to reap that benefit. Now, this same thought has been repeatedly mentioned in Devi Bhagavatam, the thought of Devi's lotus feet and dust. Yatpada pankajarajaha samavapya vishwam brahma svajat anudinam sa vibharti vishnuho. Pada pankaja rajaha, same, the dust of lotus feet, samavapya, he picks it up and then Brahma creates these worlds, and Vishnu also picks up the same and then he gets the capacity to support Vibharti, support this word. Anudinam, here he said Kathamapi, there also he says Anudinam. That means this is a continuous process. Creation, one time he has done, Brahma. And then, but Vishnu's job is continuously protect, continuously support. So Anudinam, continuously. So his need for this power is continuous. Rudrashcha samgharatine tarasa samarthaha. Rudra also with the same power of the dust of lotus feet, he is able to destroy all the world. Netarathas samarthaha, this is emphasized. They are not capable to do these three activities without the dust of the lotus feet of Devi. Tasyai namostu satatam jagadambikayai. So this is clearly mentioned in many stotras, many shlokas, many stotras in Devi Bhagavata. So this puja procedure I was mentioning, Tediyur Subramanian Shastri in his explanatory book, he has given the yantra, the procedure for puja for each shloka as a separate entity. Now this shloka and the next one, because both are connected with Padadoli, he is giving a common puja procedure. Now we are not going to go into procedures for every shloka, but it's very interesting, so I thought I will mention it. Now we are not going to get the Padadhuli of Devi for our puja, because you need that for your puja. So what he says is, you on a Purnami day, you do a Suvasini puja. You pick up a Suvasini and do a puja, and after the puja, you ask her to walk on a bed of sand, and that sand on which she has walked is the dust of lotus feet of Devi, that Suvasini foot dust. Take it and collect it and keep it carefully and worship it for a mandalam, 48 days, daily on that yantra. He is describing how to do, how to draw that yantra, etc. He is giving that. So having done that, do this puja with the dust, the puja to the dust. Now, daily morning, 1,000 times, japa of this sloka, 1,000 times this sloka, morning. Evening, with a slightly different yantra, but with the same dust, you perform the puja again 1,000 times with the japa of the next sloka, sloka number 3. And when you should do it during Vasanta Rutu or Sharad Rutu, he recommends. For best benefit, there are certain conditions, isn't it? So on the last day, when you do the Udyapanam of the Vratam, you call 9 Suvasinis, you do the puja for those 9 Suvasinis, then you get the benefit of Ashtaishwarya, you become Chiranjeevi, long life, good health, etc., etc. Another aspect which has been mentioned by commentators is now this Vishnu's 1,000 heads came up for mention in this shloka, isn't it? And it was interpreted as Adishesha carrying the earth with 1,000 heads. That is correct, no doubt. Another explanation can be Vishnu himself is described as having 1,000 heads. Sahasrashirsha Purushaha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapas. Like that Purushottam starts while praising Vishnu. So there also the Sahasrashirsha is mentioned. So there is no difference if you mention that Vishnu carries this responsibility with his 1,000 heads. Taniyam sampamsam tava charana pankeruha bhavam virinchihi sanchinvanne virachayati lokana vikalam vahadyenam shaurihi kathamapi sahasrena shirasam haras sanshudyainam bhajati bhasitodhudana vidhim.
अविद्यानामन्तस्तिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्यस्तबकमकरन्दस्रुतिझरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणिगुणनिका जन्मजलधौ निमग्नानां दंष्ट्रा मुररिपुवराहस्य भवति.
Now the last shloka reference was to the Tridevas, the great divinities. Now this shloka refers to ordinary people, humans. How the same dust of lotus feet of Devi will bless ordinary mortals. Now the benefit of every shloka has got a mundane laukika benefit, as I said. Now the benefit for this shloka is sarva vidya prapti and even attaining mukti. Now avidyanam antastimira vihira dvipa nagari. Now what is the subject of this shloka? The subject is not mentioned. Subject is the same lotus foot. That is the interpretation. The same dust of lotus feet which came up for mention in the previous shloka. So same subject continues. Now the description of the dust of lotus feet, Padadhuli, is Avidyanam Antastimira Mihira Dvipa Nagari. Avidyanam is one who does not have the knowledge. Now this knowledge is not about ordinary knowledge, this knowledge is about spiritual knowledge. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, says Bhagavan in the Gita. In the Vibhuti Yoga, he says, he is mentioning all the various manifestations of splendor. So there, for Vidya, when he talks about, he says, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. So here when we say Avidyanam, one who does not have Adhyatma Vidya, Atma Vidya. For them, Antastimira, why they are not able to progress on the spiritual path? Because their Antakarana is completely dark. Antaha Timira. Timira is dark. Their heart is dark. There is no light. Though Parameshwara is present, Devi is present in all living beings. We saw this concept and the explanation in Ananda Lahari itself. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. So though he is present in all his splendor, full of light, we have such an expertise with our avidya that we cover it up with our avidya, with our dark covering. So that light is not seen. So that is what he is referring to. Antastimira, that darkness which is there in our heart, for that darkness, this dust of lotus feet is like Mihira. Mihira is Surya. Mihira Dvipa Nagari. When sun rises in the east, it looks as if there is a city there on an island. Dvipa Nagari, city on an island. That is the poetic way of describing the sunrise. Udayachala, we say sometimes. He rises from a mountain called Udayachala. So here he is describing it as a city in a mountain, in an island, because around that there is relatively less light. There is a ball of light, great brilliance, and around it there is less light. So it looks like a dvipa. It looks like a city in an island. So Surya, the light coming from that Surya is going to remove this darkness in an instant, because when sun rises, darkness takes to its heel in no time. So similarly, this darkness in your antakarana, in your heart, will also disappear in no time as soon as you get the blessing of the lotus feet of Devi. Jadanam Chaitanya Sabaka Makaranda Sruti Jhari. That was for those who are in the category of avidya. Now, those who are in the category of Jada. Jada means Vidya may be there, may or may not be there. Even if assuming Vidya is there, he doesn't have the energy to work on that. He doesn't have the intellectual power to work on that, because Adhyatma Vidya also calls for continuous sadhana. I know something, but I have dropped all my sadhana. That doesn't take you anywhere. Continuous, lifelong sadhana is required. Even after you attain a certain level of attainment, even then, to keep it up, you need continuous sadhana. So if you are lazy, you are intellectually dull, then you cannot do this. So this is about those dull people, intellectually dull people who lack the intellectual energy or even physical energy to continue with their sadhana. They are the jadas. Jada means inertia, as opposed to active people. Chaitanya Sabaka Makaranda Shruti Dhari. For those inert people, they need to be fed with Chaitanya. the activity, Chaitanya. So this Chaitanya comes from Devi in the form of, beautifully he is explaining it, Tabaka Makaranda Shruti Dhari. Tabaka is a flower bouquet and Makaranda is the honey in the flowers, the pollen, the honey. Shruti Dhari, this honey flows from those flowers as a continuous stream. Shruti Dhari, Dhari is a stream, continuously flowing stream of Chaitanya. So Chaitanya you need continuously. That is why he is calling it as a Shruti Dhari. As I said, if you drop your sadhana midway, you will not reach your goal. So you need this Chaitanya continuously, and that is what the Jada needs, and that is provided by the blessing of Devis, dust of lotus feet. Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika. For those who are poor, they need wealth. Now, this wealth is provided by Devi Chintamani Gunanika. One Chintamani stone can fulfill all your wants, or whatever you have in your mind. You go and think of it, not even express in words. You go and think of it in front of Chintamani, that is materialized immediately. That is the greatness of Chintamani. Chintamani, Kalpaka, Vriksha, and Kamadhenu, these are all there in Devaloka. Now, here we don't have Chintamani, but no worry. Chintamani is not only one stone, you get a complete garland of necklace of Chintamani. Gunanika is a necklace of gems. Now, you get a complete necklace, a garland of Chintamani gems, and naturally your poverty is taken care of. There is no need to say that. You become very wealthy. Janma jaladhau nimagnanam damshtra muraripu varahasya bhavati. For those who are immersed in the ocean of samsara, janma jaladhau, birth and death. Nimagnanam, those who are immersed, for them, this dust acts as damshtra, the large tooth, the tusk of the Varaha. That is, Vishnu took Varaha Avatara. Muraripu is Vishnu, Murari, the enemy of Asura Mura. Now, Vishnu took the Varaha Avatara and then he retrieved earth from the bottom of the ocean. This the Hiranyaksha Asura hid earth under the waters of the ocean. Vishnu took the form of Varaha, killed Hiranyaksha. Maybe all know that Varaha Avatara story. So at that time he brought out earth on the damshtra, on his teeth, those two large teeth which are there in the Varaha, large teeth or tusks. Now this dust acts as a large tooth for, just as he brought earth out of the misery and he established very comfortably in a firm position this earth. Similarly, you will be taken out of this ocean of samsara and established comfortably in the moksha kingdom by this large tooth of dust of lotus feet. So these are blessings which are continuously happening to all kinds of people. And this mantra aspect, there is a mention beautifully. We saw this as a puja aspect, combining shloka number 2 and 3. The mantra aspect, every shloka has got a mantra aspect. This Chintamani is mentioned here. Na? He could have mentioned anything else. He could have mentioned Kamadhenu. He could have mentioned Kalpaka, Latika. He mentions frequently. Chintamani is the name given to Hrim Bija Akshara of Devi. Hrim is like Omkara for Shiva. Hrim is called Devi Bijam. Hrim is the foundational Bijakshara. All other Bijaksharas are after this. Aim, Hrim, Kleem. So Aim and Kleem, we will see them later. They are all, they have their priority after Hrim. They are derived from Hrim. Hrim is the foundational, basic Pranava, Devi Pranava. And that is known as Chintamani. In Shakta literature, every Bijakshara has got a lot of references. Now this Bijakshara has got the reference of Chintamani. So this dust of lotus feet is acting like a Chintamani, acting like Hirim Bijakshara Naturally, if you are chanting Hrim Bijaksara, you are assured of moksha. So not only removal of avidya, removal of inertia, removal of poverty, you are also assured of moksha. अविद्यानामन्तस्तिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्यस्तबकमकरन्दश्रुतिझरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणिगुणनिका जन्मजलधौ निमग्नानां दंष्ट्रा मुररिपु वराहस्य भवति.
त्वदन्यपाणिभ्यामभयवरदो दैवतगणः त्वमेका नैवासि प्रकटितवराभीत्यभिनया भयात् त्रातुं दातुं फलमपि च वाञ्छासमधिकं शरण्ये लोकानां तव हि चरणावेव निपुणौ.
The power of lotus feet is the subject in this shloka, and the benefit is sakala bhaya nivritti, relief from all fears and all diseases, roga nivritti. Now, what he starts saying, he is comparing with other devatas who have what are popularly called Varadahasta and Abhayahasta. If you see many devatas, of course, he is contending that all other devatas, it may not be literally true, that is poetic license. It is also mentioned by Mahaprabhu. He doesn't leave any aspect of this nature, in his discourses. So, though here it is mentioned as Anyaha Devata Ganaha, Tadanyaha, all others, but may not be true of all others, but most devatas show Abhayahasta and Varadahasta by means of a show of hand, gesture of hand. So, Abhayahasta generally with right hand, with freedom from fear, and Varadahasta with left hand pointing to the feet, that if you worship my feet, you will get all the boons, Varada. All your needs, all your wishes, all your desires will be fulfilled by worshipping my feet. That is Varadahasta. But this they do by actually physically demonstrating with their hands. That is what he starts saying. Tadanyappanibhyam abhayavarado daivataganaha. Tatu anyaha daivataganaha. The group of devatas other than you, they show by their hands, panibhyam abhayavaradaha. Abhayahasta and Varadahasta, they show and they indicate their assurance of freedom from fear and fulfillment of desires. Tameka naivasi prakatitavaraabhityabhinaya. This he calls as abhinaya, which is a term used in dance. Because this is like a dance that these devatas do, showing these two mudras in the two hands. This kind of abhinaya, this kind of manifestation of mudras, vara abhiti abhinaya, vara and abhaya. This abhinaya, prakatita, manifestly showing it, outwardly showing it. That is what others do. Sameka naiva, see, you are the only one who is not doing this. This Varadahasta and Abhayahasta are not there in Tripura Sundari. She is holding sugarcane bow, she is holding Pasha Ankusha, she is holding flower arrows, etc. So there is no hand which shows Abhayahasta, there is no hand showing Varadahasta. So then what happens? Are we deprived of the benefit of Varas and Abhaya? No. Bhayat tratum datum phalamapicha vancha samadhikam charanye lokanam tavahi charanave vanipunau bhayat tratum. For protection from fears, vanchasam adhikam phalamapi datum. To give you, to bless you with fruits, phalam, more than what you asked for, what you desired. Vanchasam adhikam, more than what you desired. That kind of fruit, for giving you that kind of fruit, for protecting you from fears. Tavahi charanaveva nipunau. Your feet alone are masters. He means as opposed to others. But as opposed to other devatas who have to expressly show with their hands by gestures using two hands. You don't have to use your hands, your feet, just by remaining as feet only, without any gesture. Just by remaining as feet, they bless me with Abhaya and Varada. They are masters. Tavi Karanaveva Nipunav. They alone are masters. They don't need the help of hands. That's why Eva. And Sharanye Lokana, you are the refuge of all the worlds. You are the place where the worlds should come for surrender. Because you are the only one who can give this Abhaya and Varada. Without showing this mudra, just by worshipping you, they get all the benefits. Worshipping at your lotus feet. Now, the evidence for this comes from Devi Mahatmyam. This has been mentioned by one of the commentators. He is referring to this Suratha and Suratha and Samadhi in Devi Mahatmya. Suratha is the king, Samadhi is the Vaishya. All of you know the story of this, so I will not go into the story part. Now, the Suratha lost his kingdom because of treason, and Samadhi lost all his wealth by the treason among in his own family. So both of them were completely heartbroken. They went to Rishi Medha, who initiated them into Devi mantras, and these two people performed intense tapas for 3 years, and they pleased Devi. Devi appeared in person. Devi asked these two people, what do you want? Now Suratha, after all these 3 years of intense tapas, after being initiated by that great sage, he did not develop any thirst for jnana. He did not lose his appetite for the kingdom which he had lost in a treason. Now, he only wanted my kingdom should be restored to me. So that was his vancha. And vanchasam adhikam, Devi blessed him by not only, of course, that was granted on the spot, because she told him, you turn back, your kingdom is already there. Because his ministers had already come, because the new king had left the kingdom, and by again another revolt, and these the ministers had come and offered the kingdom back to him. That has already happened. So Devi said, that is already done. Now I will bless you with the post of Manu. You will be the next Manu, Surya Savarni. Manu is a great post, splendid post. Now, in the case of Samadhi, he could have done same thing. He could have asked for wealth, which he had lost, and he was very heartbroken because of the loss only. He had mentioned it repeatedly in front of the sage. But during this tapas period, he had developed jnana. How did he develop? Only because of the blessing of Devi. There also this vanchasam adhikam principle has operated in a subtle manner. Because there his initial desire was wealth, and finally when Devi appeared in front of him, he asked for jnana, not for wealth. He didn't mention wealth at all. He asked only for jnana. And that jnana was granted immediately. Jnana is actually moksha, so he got moksha also. That is how Devi is so generous, so compassionate. There is a stotra called Manohara Stotra, which Parameshwara has composed in praise of Devi. There, this is mentioned very beautifully. A very beautiful sloka. Yatra asti bhogo nahi tatra moksho. Yatra asti moksho nahi tatra bhogaha. Where there is bhoga, that is enjoyment in this world, there will not be moksha. That means those who give you bhoga will not give you moksha. Those who give moksha will not give you bhoga. If you want to get both, Sri Sundari Tarpana Tatparanam Bhogascha Mokshashcha Karathayeva. For those who are worshipping Sri Sundari, that is Tripura Sundari, whom we are worshipping now in this Saundara Lahari, if you worship her, Bhoga and Moksha, both are in your hands. Karatha, they are already in your hands. Tadanyappanibhyam abhayavarado daivataganaha त्वमेका नैवासि प्रकटितवराभित्यभिनया भयात् त्रातुं दातुं फलमपि च वाञ्छासमधिकम् शरण्ये लोकानां तव हि चरणावेव निपुणौ. Time is up for today. We close the session for today. Are there any questions?
No questions, Mama.
No questions. So we close for the day. So tomorrow evening, 6:30 p.m. IST as usual, we meet and continue to immerse ourselves in this flood of bliss of Saundarya Lahari. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sri Raja Rajeshwarye Jaya Jaya.